Hello and welcome to another episode of Thinking Out Loud. I hope you enjoyed our previous episode about the map is not the territory. One issue that I realized that we all face today is about this one particular question. Who are you? Being self aware is a very important quality to become an amazing leader. And over my past 2 years in this journey, it has all been about self awareness. But despite the 2 years of me trying to be more self aware, I still have my struggles with it, which is why I have someone here to help me out today. Someone who's going to help us understand how we can be more self aware. Today with us, we have Kirti Garg, a mental health advocate and a psychologist in training, and the founder of Psyk-Life. Hi, Kirti. How are you?
Hello, Rahul. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. My day was pretty good today. It was my grandparents' 56th wedding anniversary, I guess. So we had a small celebration in the morning. How was the day for you so far?
So nice to hear about this. For me, the day was good as always. I've been enjoying the lockdown. Uh, you know, uh, every day I wake up and I have some work to look up to, which I'm currently enjoying. So yes, just like every other day, today is also a lot about curiosity and enjoying my work. So yes, that is how my day has been till now.
Nice. I think you're the first guest I interviewed who said they're actually enjoying lockdown, and I can actually I can actually resonate with you because, to be honest, even I'm enjoying the lockdown a lot. I've would say I've become more of a family person now since this happened.
I'm
But
sure
yeah,
all of
but yeah. So I just wanted to know. I mean, I know what Psych Life is about. We've been talking about
you.
this over the past week. I've been following your Instagram page, and honestly, the work you do is amazing. So I just wanted you to tell about for our listeners about what Psych Life is as well, so they know more about it.
Yes, sure. So, Psych-Life is an initiative that has been started by me, and we try to spread mental health awareness to the best of our capabilities. We're trying to create a safe and non-judgmental space where people can actually, vent out their emotions and how they feel. We are LGBTQ friendly, and we help individuals become self-accepting, and we believe in growing together. So, there's a lot of work that we do on our page. That differs from we have self-reflection sections, we have a self-care series. Currently we are doing a to z of mental health tips on our page, and we have some amazing speakers sharing about different tips. We have 26 tips, and this campaign is on for 26 days, and we have invited 26 speakers. So yes, so currently this is what we are up to, and thank you for this platform where I could share about my initiative.
I think I should be the one saying thanks because honestly, I do this, so that I can learn a lot. And at the same time, when I'm learning, other people can learn as well. So, Kirti, I just wanted to ask you this one question. Who are you?
Okay. To begin with, I'm Kirti Garg, and I'm a final year student of Masters in Psychology. I'm pursuing it from University of Delhi, and I'm a very enthusiastic person who's very keen to learn and grow. So yes, that is a brief about me.
Hmm. Like I said in the beginning, this question is like we say, who are you? Is something which is difficult for a lot of people to answer, and they just say, like you said, they just say these things. Like if someone asked me who am I, I'll be like, I'm Rahul. I am a final year mechanical engineering student. I run my own podcast show called Thinking Out Loud. I'm a public speaker. I would say things like this, but I just feel these are labels. And do you think these are actually answers that define us and make us more self-aware, or is there something else to it?
Okay, so to begin with, since we are today, I'm sure the viewers who are listening to me and you speaking, are here to understand what exactly self awareness is and why we are discussing on this topic today. And why is it important? So, to begin with, I would like to shed some light on what is self awareness and why is it actually important. Self awareness is more than just knowing your name, more than just knowing your qualifications, more than just knowing where you reside and what are your interests. It is more than that. It is about including your personality traits, your personal values, some of the habits that you have, the emotions that you experience today and every day, and what are your psychological needs. Self awareness is important because it can help you understand your wants, your needs, your desires. And the best part about self awareness is once an individual starts moving more towards this concept, they're able to understand their strengths and weaknesses in a much, much better manner. It's not just knowing that you are good at mathematics or you are bad at singing. It is much more than that. It is about knowing what thoughts go into your head, what emotions you feel in what circumstances, and how are you usually reacting to them. So self awareness is a much more holistical concept than just knowing your demographic details.
I think that actually that makes a lot of sense. Uh, and I've heard a lot of people say if you need to be more self aware, you need to have experiences in life, go to something crazy. And I've seen so many people who go to these crazy stuff. Me personally, I've had some crazy experiences in my life as well. But, something I realized after that is despite having these experiences, I still struggle with being more self aware. And it's not just me, there are so many people out there who still struggle with it. And why do you think that is?
Okay, so to begin with, I think it is wonderful that you are aware of the fact that you are experiencing a lot of experiences and incidents in your life. But just experiencing them and having numerous experiences in your life is not sufficient. That is not what makes you self aware. It is about sitting back and reflecting on the experiences that you had. Just because you went through something, you had some fight, or probably you were involved into some situation, that in itself does not make you a self aware or highly experienced individual. The fact that you sit back and you reflect on what you did, what were the good parts, where you went wrong, the moment you sit back and reflect, that is when you can probably start saying that you're becoming a little bit more self-aware. You're getting a little bit more insight about your actions, about your behaviors, about your thoughts, about your impulses. So just not just experiencing the experiences, but also reflecting them back. And just to add on to this, there's this cycle that I usually share with people whenever I get a chance to speak. And this is about you know how self awareness is related to my self growth. So when I become a little bit more self aware, I start to self express. I start expressing what I'm feeling, and that expression leads to self acceptance. So the more I'm aware of what I'm feeling, the more I express what I'm feeling, there are higher chances that I will start accepting what I'm feeling. And this acceptance leads to self growth. So we have self awareness leading to self expression, that leads to self acceptance, and that overall leads to our self growth, or we can even call it self healing. So, this is what self awareness is all about. This is why it is very important, and this is why I feel that it is important for us to discuss this today. So, Rahul, if I ask you, probably just share with me an object, that you think represents you. For example, for me, it would be a kite. So whenever I think of myself, the one object that I feel most connected to, and an object that I feel mostly represents me, is a kite. That is because a kite is something that just keeps flying, and that is what I hope for. That is what I strive for every day. I just want to fly and be free, and just live up to the best of my capabilities and abilities. So that is an object, after discussing with several people, after sitting back and reflecting, that is something that I could come up with. So what is it for you?
Okay, that is something I never really thought about. Uh, but if I had to choose an object um, that would define who I am or represent me, uh, I would choose a headlight for some reason. The reason being that the headlight can only give you the light so far. It's going like let's say it's really dark and you switch on the headlights, so the light can only go till a certain distance, and you can only be sure of how far you can go, which the headlight shows you. And that is something which I really relate to, because I don't know where I'm going. I just follow the path where the headlight is showing. I know where I want to reach. I'm not sure exactly how to reach there, but I know the headlight is the thing that is the thing that can guide me. And I think another reason why I would choose headlight is also because it's something I can. It's not only for me, but I can help other people as well at the same time.
Right, so wonderful, just because I asked you to think at the moment, not just an object, but it actually made you, realize about how your thought process works, how probably you are a little bit less clearer about where you want to go and how you want to actually achieve your goals, and how you believe in helping others also. So this is something which we usually don't talk about. So the audience here, the people who are listening to me, this is a small activity for all of you, sit back and actually reflect, either for 5 minutes only. What is that one object, a song, an animal, a flower, a poem, a symbol, a jewelry, anything that represents you, and do provide a reason to it. And it'll help you understand how you think, what are your beliefs about yourself. It'll help you understand who you are a little better.
I think this is something that's very interesting, because a lot of people wouldn't have even thought of this, and it actually kind of took me by surprise as well. Uh, but something which I wanted to focus on right now is, earlier I did an episode on emotional intelligence, and like today morning I saw a quote saying that uh, success and emotional intelligence are kind of interrelated to self awareness. But obviously, it was just a quote, and I really did not have the clarity to understand this. But I remember, when we were talking earlier over the phone, you had mentioned something like this before, and I feel it is something beneficial for the people who are listening to this. So if you could just tell them.
Yes, sure. So, when we start to think about and share about the benefits of self-awareness, some of the key pointers that come up are, self-awareness helps you in creating some achievable goals, and that is possible because you're becoming a little bit more self-aware. You're becoming aware about your strengths, about your weaknesses, and also self-awareness helps you in guiding you on the right path. So basically it helps you in pursuing some opportunities that would best fit your skill set, your preferences, and your tendencies. Self-awareness, being self-aware would also help you in identifying certain situations and people that might be triggers for you. Since you're becoming self-aware, you're getting to know yourself, you would be able to know what are some things that you do not like, what are some things that are actually a trigger for you, that would you know not help you grow to the best of your potential. So self awareness, a person who is self aware, will probably be more, it'll be more easier for that person to make positive behavioral changes that can lead to the person to greater personal and interpersonal success. So these and the ones that I mentioned earlier are some of the amazing benefits that self awareness has, apart from also loving yourself. So once I become self aware, I realize what am I good at, and what are the inner values that I hold, do I actually like them. So all these components together, that's why I said this is a very holistic concept. All these components together help me become more successful, more loving, and more self aware in general.
Actually, now that you mention it, I actually I understand it better. But something I wanted to know more about is the positive behavioral changes. And if you could, probably, tell some positive, and you actually sound like a person who is really self-aware. You know yourself a lot. Could you tell us like some positive behavioral changes that you saw in yourself?
Okay. Thank you so much for this question. I would love to share my experience over here. So I used to be I'm a very achievement oriented person, you know. I believe in doing my best and, you know, not giving up on opportunities and just grabbing everything I can and, you know, to the best, to just shine. Like I said, something that represents me is a kite. Um, so earlier it used to be like, you know, I used to be a little bit more louder to people, a little bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive exactly, but a little bit more sharper and ruder to people. So I receive these amazing feedbacks from my family members these days and from the past 2 to 3 years. I've been hearing them say that, you know, Kirti, there's a lot of change that we have seen in you, and how did that happen? You know, what happened that you suddenly became a little bit more softer and you started acknowledging people around you, or you started becoming a little bit more loving. So something that I owe, I owe all of this to my subject, to psychology, and I believe that, you know, the day I realized the importance of the subject and I dwelled more into it, I became a little bit more self aware. The subject has helped me understand, you know, a lot of things, not just about myself, but about others. And this is something that happens, you know, once you start getting to know yourself better, you get to understand not just the strengths, but also the weaknesses. So if there is something, like, for example, me being extra loud, if that is something that wasn't good, like, that is something which is obviously not good for me and those around me. So I was able to pinpoint that. And there are surely a lot of flaws in me even now, and I'm surely working on them. And that is only possible because I'm on the ladder of becoming self aware. You know, I wouldn't say that I'm totally self aware, but I would surely say that this subject, psychology, and, you know, being a mental health advocate, all these things have together helped me become a little bit more self aware. And this is how I could, you know, bring about a positive behavioral change in myself.
Like for you, it was psychology. For me, it was a volunteering experience that I had. So, just a context, I was always a very shy child. I was probably one of the most shyest people in my entire family, and like everyone in my family used to mock me for it. And I remember I went in, I think in the summer of 2018, that I went for this volunteering experience abroad. And, you know, I spent 6 weeks there. I came back. And the first thing I did is like, I had to go to university directly after I came back. So on my way to university, I just called my grandparents. And I talked to them. Okay, everything was normal. Everything seemed normal to me. And that night, my mom called me and she was telling that my grandparents made a comment that I sounded more confident for some reason. And I really don't know if this could be considered in the positive behavioral change, but I really want to consider it over there because that was something I think that is when I started becoming more self aware about me as well. Uh, but we have been discussing about, you know, what exactly self awareness is, but we really haven't dwelled deeper into why is it a struggle.
Hmm. Right. So this is true that not just me, not just you. I think all of us struggle and all of us are not that self-aware. And I'm sure all of us want to become a little bit more self-aware, especially after, you know, the audiences who have heard us, who are listening to us from past 20 minutes. I'm sure you would want to become a little bit more self-aware. But there's this question that why do we struggle? Why is there a barrier? What is that barrier? So, Rahul, if I may ask you, how would you describe me, you know, from the past 1 week conversations that we have had? What are some of the lines, some of the pointers that come to your mind about me?
Okay. I try to avoid questions like these a lot, but now that I'm at the spot, now that I'm at the spotlight, uh, I would say you're a very energetic person. You're someone who is very driven, uh, and I would say you're a very kind person as well. I wouldn't use like use rude to describe you. I wouldn't use that because from a past interaction, I really feel you are a kind person, and you're very good at making people feel comfortable. And the reason why I say that is, I remember the first time we talked on the phone. And the first thing I said was like, I'm bad at icebreakers. And you were like, no, it's fine. And, just like made me feel much more at ease.
Hmm. Okay, so that was some lovely things to hear from you. And I'm glad I asked this question. I got to know how you feel about me. Okay, so what point I'm trying to make here is that, Rahul and we have had, I think, two conversations, one conversation over calls and some messages regarding today's this recording. So, it is still easier for Rahul to comment upon how I am. Probably he's not sharing some negative aspects that he noticed about me, but let's leave aside the negative. But he's able to share a lot of heavy words. That I made him feel comfortable and I'm energetic and I'm fine. Things like that. He's still able to share that about me. Why does this happen? So when I self reflect, when I try to understand this concept a little better, there's this thing that I understand, that when it comes to others, when it comes to somebody who is not me, it is very, very, very easy for us to observe that person. We are very active when we are in front of somebody, active in the sense active in observing them. We are very critical, be it in both positive manner or negative manner. We have a whole judgment present, a whole analysis of who the other person is. But why does that not happen with us? Why are we so externally oriented? This is where, this subtle behavior that has become so imbibed into us, that observing the person outside, observing somebody else's behavior, somebody else's action, that is what has become our priority, and that is what we do very much unknowingly. So this external orientation is one of the major reasons why we are less self-aware, and why we struggle in becoming self-aware. This excess external orientation is one of the main reasons.
Wow. That makes a lot of sense now that you mention it.
Also, to support what I said, I have this example. So whenever I or somebody else, whenever we think about a future partner, so it'll be like, wo kaisa hoga, what are some of the pointers that I want in my partner, or some guy thinking, what are some of the pointers that I want in my wife, in my future wife. We always have that, me how will a person be for me. But do we actually sit and reflect कि मैं किसी के लिए कैसी होंगी? What are some of the qualities that I want should be in me, so that I can prove to be a good partner to somebody else. So this whole thinking about मेरे पार्टनर में ये होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, but there's never a thought about मैं किसी के लिए कैसी होंगी.
That makes perfect sense. Wow. I never really thought of anything like that. My mind is too compromised right now thinking about that. Uh, but yeah, I think we discussed about what exactly is self awareness and why do we struggle with it. But obviously, people also want solutions. So what are the some gyan you can give on how to be more self aware?
Okay. So I would love to share some beautiful tips. Before I share them, I would like to say that some of these tips are well tested by me. These are some things that I do in my day to day life, and probably that these are the tips that are helping me become a little bit more self aware. So, to begin with, my favorite tip is that of me time. So, Rahul, if I ask you, or the listeners over here, if I ask you about your schedule, I'm sure you have segments of eating. You have some time where you sleep. You have some time that you waste. You have some time to scroll over Instagram or social media. You have some time where you just chill and watch television. But you really have some time where you can say that this is the time I give to myself. This is my me time.
Uh, I mean, if you asked me this 2 weeks back, I would have agreed with you.
Hmm.
But just recently, I've been trying to make time for myself,
Okay,
where it's just me. There's no mobile phone, no nothing, no books. It's just me and a piece of paper in front of me.
that's lovely. So, what do you do? What do you do in your me time?
Oh, so recently, like, I've been having this major goal that I wanted to achieve.
Mm,
So I just try to draw the visualization of it and the different aspects of how I want it to look like in
mhm.
those 20 to 30 minutes I spend there. And then after that, I just stick it on the wall in front of me, because I work a lot on my laptop and so I can see it when I'm working. So, I remind myself, yes, this is what I want to achieve.
Lovely. So that me time works for you, to actually visualize what you want to achieve and how you want to achieve it. So this is what me time is. You could sit back and start visualizing things you want. You could sit back and reflect upon things that have passed, or the best, you leave aside the future or the past. Just sit and probably do things that you love. Just listen to some calm music that you enjoy, or probably draw something, try out some different art forms, or just taking a 5 minutes extra sleep is also pampering yourself. That me time could be nothing but this was not a part of your schedule, but for your self growth, for your self love, you are deciding to sleep for extra half an hour today. So that some simple things like this could also be me time. So this is my first step for becoming self aware, spending time with yourself. Only if I only because Rahul was able to spend some time with me, be it on call or be it on chat, he was able to comment upon who I am. And only when we are able to spend time with ourselves will we know who we are. Does that make sense, Rahul?
It makes perfect sense.
Okay. So my second tip would be observing our behaviors. So we could use the me time, or even if we are not giving some specific time, we could observe out the behaviors that we do in general. That could be early in the morning, throughout the day, how we react to situations. So just keeping a watch on my actions, keeping a watch on my thoughts, on my feelings. What particular situations make me feel overwhelmed, what particular behaviors do I involve into when a particular thing happens. So just keeping an eye and observing yourself helps you in forming a self perception about yourself, and making helps you in becoming self aware. And also, there's a small thing that you can do, a small activity, which says that write down 10 sentences that become with that start with I am. So you could, whatever comes to your mind, the first 10 things. It could be I'm Kirti, I'm a girl, I am a student, I'm this, I'm that. Whatever comes to your mind, just jot down 10 lines that start with I am. And you would realize that initially it would be a lot easier, coming up with the first 3 to 4 lines. It would be a little bit more easier as compared to continuing the whole sentences. This thing will help you in start thinking and focusing your thought on yourself, on who you are. So this is a very simple exercise and it won't take much of your time, but do try it out. And also, I'd like to share with the viewers that I'm going to share some tips here. So just if while listening, if you could jot them down. So I'd like if you mention 5 of your strengths, 2 weaknesses, one of your best quality, one quality that you admire in others, 2 achievements till date that you're proud of, 3 things that you would like to change about yourself, and something that makes you happy. Just jot down these things, and while you're jotting down, we'd love to hear your experience. And also, I'm sure this will be a fun activity for you to actually reflect on questions like these. So, Rahul, would you want to do this activity too?
Uh, I mean, you mean the five strengths, two
Yeah,
weaknesses?
like not
I mean, I
now,
would
but then.
definitely love. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I thought
mean, see,
that.
I would definitely do this activity as soon as this is over.
Oh,
Uh,
love.
just like something I wanted to say.
Hmm,
Like when you said observing our own behaviors.
hmm,
Uh, you mentioned like one part about how we react to situations.
hmm,
I feel that is so true that we have to understand why we react to certain situations in certain ways. Because uh like for me, like there was a it's and this is something I'm speaking from like very recent experiences.
hmm,
uh like certain situations happened. Because it's personal, I'm not going to dive into the details. But one thing which surprised me was the way I was reacting to them, because I was like, I never expected that I would react in those ways to these situations.
hmm,
And it's like when you start thinking about it, you dive deeper into it, you understand why you are reacting in such a way, it just feels so much better. And I feel it's a way to remove all that negative emotions, like dispel all the negative emotions that you have inside.
Hmm. Right. So basically, you're just validating by sharing this experience, you're just validating the whole thing that I said earlier, that it is not just about
Hmm.
experiencing your experiences, but actually reflecting upon them. So only because you could sit back and reflect upon how you reacted, you are able to, share this whole thing, and it is helping you understand why you did what you did.
Exactly. uh, I mean, you have given us so many tips so far on how to be more self-aware, but I'm pretty sure you have few tricks up your sleeve even right now.
Hmm. Right. So I'll just continue with the tips. So there's this favorite tip, a very common tip that I'm sure all of our listeners here have heard, and that is about journaling. So before I dive into the benefits of journaling, I have a beautiful incident to share from my personal life. So I know that you have heard about journaling, and you have these doubts that this has become such a common practice. Is it even worth it? And why does everybody keep sharing this? To become self-aware, journal. To know your thoughts, journal. To feel better, journal. For this, do journaling. For that, do journaling. Why is it that everybody keeps saying journaling is so important? So I used to have this teacher, and he used to come to our class every day and say, that guys, have you read the newspaper today? So most of us used to answer, no, sir. He used to come the next day. Did you read the newspaper today? No, sir. Did you read the newspaper today? No, sir. So one day he got so fed up and he said that this idiot is coming in front of you every day and is begging you to read newspapers and is asking you, have you read them? Then, just think once that why is this person taking so much efforts to keep asking you to do the same thing again and again? There might be some benefits, right? And that was the day when it hit me hard, that I should start reading newspapers. And I'm sure people who read them know the benefits of reading newspaper. So the same thing applies to journaling. Everybody talks about it,
Hmm.
everybody shares how important it is. Let's just try it once now. Let's just do it and understand that is it even worth it. How much people share about it, is it even worth it? So from the self-awareness perspective, when I share journaling as a tip, I do not want, like, I'm not suggesting people to write down that I woke up at this time, my mother did this, my sister did this, then I did this. No, I want you to sit back and reflect upon the thoughts that you had throughout the day, about the emotions that you felt throughout the day, and some of the actions that you were involved into throughout the day. So to help you understand the whole concept of what you are feeling, how you are feeling, why you are feeling, and what are the thoughts that go into your mind. How do you respond to situations? So, whatever we have talked so far, the components of self awareness and why it is important, you'll actually be able to figure out all of that once you start journaling, once you start writing down what you feel and what you did the whole day. So, this is another tip from my side, and some very small pointers that I like to add are that it is important that we predict how we would feel in a situation that has not happened yet. So if you know, for example, that tomorrow you have a competition and you have to go on stage and recite a poem. So just visualizing the whole thing, just predicting that if this happens, this is how you are going to react. If this happens, this is how your body would react. So just forming a whole awareness of a situation that you're finding overwhelming is also becoming self-aware. It is helping you understand how you would respond to certain triggers, how would you would respond to certain situations that have not happened yet. Also, it is important that we focus on the choices we make, and as we have said earlier also, this is all about reflecting on our experiences and not just experiencing them. It is
Hmm.
about learning from the mistakes that we did and understanding the decisions that we made and how did these choices actually make us feel. So it is about doing this whole reflection altogether. So self awareness has a very direct link towards self reflection. The more you self reflect, the more self aware you are becoming. Self awareness is nothing but knowing yourself, and one of the best way you can know yourself is through self reflection. And my last tip
Hmm.
for knowing yourself, like we are social human beings, there is nothing that can happen. only in void and only akele and only by myself. There has to be help from others. There has to be an involvement from others. So it is important that we ask for feedbacks, that we acknowledge the feedbacks that we get, especially from our trust, the people we trust, and our loved ones. The kind of it was the feedback that I got from my family members, that I have started becoming a little bit more politer, that I started realizing that yes, this is true, and not just the positive feedback. This works in case of some criticism, some negative feedbacks too. So please always be open to feedbacks, and these feedbacks would help you understand yourself a little better. So these are some tips from my side. A lot of them I have tried already, and I am trying every day. I'm sure that we would want to become self aware, and let's just use whatever we find meaningful from this whole conversation and become and try to become self aware.
Okay, that is amazing, amazing tips that you have given. And I think all of them make a lot of sense. And two of them, which I really liked, the ones you mentioned at the end, predicting how we feel and, asking for feedback. It, like, I try to do this, like, if I'm, like, especially for me, like, since I release episode after episode, or I do a lot of public speaking, I always try to predict different scenarios and see how I'm going to react to them. And it does it does help in a way. I'm not able to explain how, but I'm 100% sure it does help because I've experienced it. And asking for feedback is like, even if you do not ask for it and people give you feedback, it does get your mind thinking, and that's when you realize, yeah, it does make sense.
Yes, there are a lot
Because
of
like
things
you
that
said,
we
your
do good,
family.
but only after hearing it from others do we realize that, oh, this is something that I did good. Thank you for the feedback, and now my attention is going to that action. Let me do this again.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, it does make a lot of sense because, like, for you, your family or friends started saying that you've become less rude. I don't know the exact word you used, but yeah. And I mean, even if I find it surprising that you were rude at one point, trust me, I do not believe that. And for me, like my grandparents and my relatives, like later on, they started saying that I became a more confident
Right.
person, and that just gets you thinking, like, oh yeah, it does make a lot of sense, and you start, doing it more often.
Yes. So I hope today's this recording and people who are listening to this, you found it useful. And I just like to conclude with one line. Once you start becoming a little bit more self-aware, sit back and reflect on this question: that are you happy with who you are? Is it a why or a why not? So just sit back, and this is another question, that I am reflecting on currently, and I'm sure that you would all love to reflect on too. It'll help you gain a little bit more insight about yourself. That are you literally happy with who you are becoming and who you have become, or are there some changes that you would like to bring into yourself?
Yes, I mean, I'm actually still trying to comprehend whatever you told, all of us right now. So I'm actually kind of struggling to form words in my head. But I can definitely say this. Thank you so much, Kirti. I've learned so much from you. I'm sure our audience have learned so much from you. And guys, I definitely suggest you guys to go and check out, Psych-Life's page on Instagram. I've added it in the description of the episode. Do go check it out. It has a lot of amazing content. And Kirti, I wish you all the best with everything for Psych-Life.
Thank you so much, Rahul, for such kind words. You've just made me feel a little bit more fulfilled, right now, that whatever I tried to convey here, it made sense to you. And I'm sure, I hope the viewers who are listening to me, probably just drop in some comments so that it helps us understand that did we really make sense to what we were trying to say? Did you find it useful or not? And thank you so much for this amazing platform. And, I could really pour my heart out here and share my views on self awareness. Thank you so much, Rahul.
Thank you so much, Kirti, for joining us today. And yeah, I guess that's it. We will see you all I mean, I will see you all next week. Hopefully, we can have Kirti back sometime in the future
Yes, I
again.
would love
Who
to.
knows?